Hello, today I will be doing a critical reflection on the film opening Omerta, Code of Silence. After contemplating the direction my team and I wanted to take on our film opening, we decided to combine crime and drama and enter the mob gang genre of film. In doing research for our project, we really got to see what brilliant conventions directors have used in the past with award winning films um, to really capture the audience's attention and make up the mob gang genre of film. So we got to decide which conventions we wanted to mimic in our film, and one of those was the convention of family. When looking at the opening to the movie The Godfather, we saw that right away they mentioned family. The main character stated that his family was Italian and right away started talking about his daughter and his daughter's relationship with another man. So in this film, we wasted no time with introducing the family, first the wife, and establishing through dialogue that she is true and loyal and honest, and he couldn't be happier. And then going to the master shot of the family at the dinner table to establish the family dynamic and importance of family to the main character in our film. We were able to stretch the convention of family even further by showing the happiness of the family and then contrasting that with the killing of both the wife and the child, and this taking away of the family and showing that the main character has not only lost his life from someone in the mob, but also his family and his whole entire world. And that just shows that in a mobster's life, you cannot separate yourself from your family, nor can you separate the mob from your family. It's all tied into one. We evoke an emotional response from the viewer by having those screams of the wife in the background of the progression of the shooting by the assassin. The next convention we wanted to use was a murder, and we saw this in the opening to the movie Goodfellas, where four guys get out of a car and open the trunk to show the viewer a bloody body wrapped in a blanket, and they're surprised he's still alive, so they stab him a few more times and shoot him with a gun. And it's just brutal and unsympathetic, which is consistent of activities by the mob. In our film, we wanted to make sure to address the illegal and criminal activities of the mob, and therefore we wanted to definitely show a murder within the first 2 minutes of our film. So we decided to kill off our main character and both his wife and kid. And then the rest of the movie will be allotted to explaining his activities with the mom and his connection with the mom, and from money and luxury to blood and betrayal. And that's why we titled our movie Omerta, Code of Silence, because our main character has broken the code of silence of the mob by ratting out his fellow um, mobsters to the police and therefore being put in witness protection. But he is sought after and eventually found, and they do kill him. Another convention we wanted to make sure to use was the convention of dialogue. We noticed in our research that these types of movies had heavy dialogue. In The Godfather, it was in the form of a direct address where a character is talking to you, telling you a story, and it zooms out into a black room, and he's actually talking to another man, so it is a dialogue between him and another man. And in the movie The Goodfellas, there's immediate dialogue between four guys in a car, and they're talking all the way up to. So we decided to incorporate dialogue around the dining table between the family to establish the family dynamic and the environment in which they live and how they live. And by this, we wanted to achieve normality because we want to just portray them as a normal, average family, which will be contrasted by the realization that he is an ex-mobster. Also, we wanted to give the sense that the main character was going to be telling the rest of the story, and to give way to this, we decided to incorporate voiceovers, but not just over images. We wanted to actually pause the entire sequence by doing a freeze frame, and it essentially pauses real time and has the main character voice his thoughts and what's happening during the sequence of events. The last convention we wanted to incorporate was the convention of an old-timiness about the movie. And this is true of the movies Goodfellas, The Godfather, and Scarface, because they're all set in the 80s or 90s or even before then, and they really have an old-timey essence to them and an old way of doing things that's not modern or innovative. And so we decided to set our movie in 1964 in order to create the 1964 essence, not only by showing it on a black screen, but throughout the whole film. We had to pay close attention to costume and mise-en-scene. So we had the main character wearing suspenders, the assassin wearing a hat, and the housewife wearing a long pink circle skirt. And we had to make sure that the furniture we were using in the space was all dated, so we used our friend's dining set that was her grandparents, and also we had to make sure all the pieces on the table were dated and old, and we had to make sure we didn't show any modern functions, or like we couldn't even touch a bathroom or a bed, and we could not show any like alarm system or outlets because that would give it away right away. But I think we were very successful in achieving a 1964's look. And in editing, we decided to go with a high quality film, but a faded, kind of saturated looking filter over the movie. And for conventions, lastly, we challenged the convention of low-key lighting that we saw in The Godfather and Goodfellas, and that gave more of a suspenseful, eerie essence, but our whole movie, the point of it is that there is a twist. So at first the viewer is taken on this journey of a normal family and just doing a normal morning routine, and then that is contrasted with a murder that you do not see coming. So that's why we do have the high key lighting in our film. Our product engages with the audience by creating an image of a normal, happy family, and we do so by starting off our film with happy, catchy music and other elements such as the husband's kiss on the cheek to the wife and the kid around the dining room table creates a happy and relaxed environment. And by creating a tragedy that follows with the shooting of the wife, kid, and main character, the audience is intrigued and wants to hear the main character tell the story that led up to the point we see within the first 2 minutes of the film. This film is meant for a more mature audience because mature issues are discussed, and that is the loss of life, through the murder of a family. And also there is tactful cursing, and that is because we wanted to portray, even though he is an ex-mobster, that he still lives some elements of a mobster's life. So that's why we do include a killing, and we do include cursing, because he still is used to saying
Stanley.
And
Fuck.
in his everyday life. As a real media text, this movie would be distributed straight to the theaters. My production skills improved drastically in the making of this film. First of all, just in the planning aspect, where we got to research other brilliant techniques other directors were using and attempt to mimic those in our own way, and also through planning out what supplies we needed for each scene, especially going with the 1964 theme. We had to thoughtfully make sure we were using the right objects and we were capturing exactly what we needed to in the film. And also, we had to plan location. Location was so big because we had to keep old furniture and a dated look to our film. And in the actual filming process, I think my skills improved drastically just getting behind the camera and seeing what works best, being flexible, not going with just what we drew on the storyboard, really trying to get in the set and move around, jump around to see what looks best for the scene and the message that we're trying to convey. And the editing process was big. We achieved the fluidity we wanted in our scenes, and I think the hardest part was getting all of the sound to line up. We have two sound bridges, one of the wife talking to the child and another of the dog barking, so just getting all that sound to match. And we even edited the actors' voices and deepened some of them, slowed some of them down, depending on what we needed for that particular point in the film. We could not have made this movie happen without the integration of technologies. We used the Canon Rebel T3 and Sony tripod to shoot all of our scenes, and we used iMovie to edit and get that fluidity that we wanted. We used iTunes to retrieve the two songs we used in our film, and we used WordPress to blog every step of the way. Thank you for watching this critical reflection on my own film opening, Omerta: Code of Silence.